All right, are you ready?
Yeah? This episode is brought to you by Carlisle Tattoo Co. Bold, bright and everlasting. You can find us at 178 Carlisle Street, St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Carlisle Studios. My name is Hal Hunter. I am a professional tattoo artist and co-owner of Carlisle Tattoo Co. here in St Kilda. And I'm lucky enough to be here again with...
Hal Hunter, who was not expecting that much effort.
Well, I've been given some advice on little tips that I can improve on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who by?
Just people.
I don't get this advice?
No.
Now I seem dumb.
No, you're just uninformed.
Okay.
Or is the word ill-informed?
Let's go with ill-informed. But thank you so much to my wonderful husband who ill-informed me of the professionalism that we're bringing.
No, it was just a close advisor gave me some advice that we never give information about who we are. Obviously, there's some context if you've listened to all the episodes, but...
Have you had like a deep chat with your dad or something?
Possibly.
It was your dad, wasn't it?
It was.
James, you need to tell me too.
Don't yell into the microphone.
Guys, now I seem like an idiot.
No.
I'm also a professional tattoo artist, guys.
It was a good point that if someone was to just come across the podcast and listen to it, just this episode, and we hadn't given information, obviously there's a little ad at the start about the shop and everything, but there's no info on who we are and who you're listening to.
That's fair.
Yeah, so it's something that I think I hadn't thought of it, and he just brought it to my attention, and I think it was quite good advice.
Well, thank you, James. But next time, Hal, maybe you could tell me before we start recording.
Why?
That's a stitch up and a half.
How's your week been, Bella? Because I actually haven't seen you in a few days.
My week? It's been good.
Yeah?
It's been a bit more lonely than normal.
Why?
Because you left me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You went on your little surf trip.
Yeah.
And it was, 5 or 4 nights?
No, it was
4 nights?
3 nights, 4 days.
No, because you stayed 1 night in Melbourne, 4 nights.
4 nights, 4 days.
Yep, you left me for 4 nights and 4 whole days.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone knows Hal and I, well, we spend a lot of time together.
Yes, we do.
So it was good, but lonely.
Yeah?
I don't like being alone.
Well, you weren't alone though. You had Courtney.
No, I was alone for 2 of the nights.
Yeah.
But Courtney came down, Pokio Drift, came down and stayed with me over the weekend, which was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
But we both have had a cold.
Oh, really?
I've had the cold that you had last week. So you left me and you left me sick.
Yeah.
So, bow. But so Courtney and I didn't do too much over the weekend.
Okay.
We made pumpkin soup.
Mm-hmm. No, it tasted good.
Yeah.
I had some the other night.
You had the last portion
the
other night. We made like 30 scones.
Yeah, I just saw them out the back of the shop when I walked in.
Sitting in a big Tupperware out the back.
Yeah.
We also made homemade sushi because when you're pregnant, you're not meant to have sushi.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Okay.
So every meal that we had to eat over the weekend, we were like, let's make something from scratch because we were so sick and like felt average that that was our entertainment.
Fair enough.
So that was great. Your dad also said, Bella, you can tell me about your meals that you make on the podcast. So,
yeah, okay.
yeah, because I had someone message in saying, what was it? I screenshot it to the family group laughing.
I don't know.
Saying like, Hal's surf chat is good, but like...
My weekly recaps are quite in-depth because I put effort into them. And yours...
That's not what he
yours
said.
Are always the same and very brief. It's like, oh, yeah, haven't really done anything different, done a few cool tarts, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's not what he said. He said it way nicer to me.
But just... That was the gist of it, wasn't it?
Okay, he said, I think you need your own little segment. Haha. Don't mind the surf talk, but it's becoming the Hal Hunter hour.
Yes.
But yeah.
I
put more effort.
I don't know who's sending that message, but in response to that, I'm
saying thank you, mate.
I'd say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
I'm not a horse, mate.
I prompt you every week to put more effort into the weekly recaps.
This is my effort.
And sometimes they're lacking.
Yeah, well, that is my weekly recap. I worked and then I sat at home on the couch sick with Courtney because that's how you left me.
Okay.
So hit me up with your amazing week.
It wasn't that amazing. Far out. Well, yeah, over the weekend I went to King Island, which is in Tasmania, off the north coast of Tasmania. I'd never been there before, so that was cool. Took a 7-seater charter plane from Barwon Heads Airport. It's only a 35-minute flight. Once again, solidified in my mind that I don't like going on airplanes. So that ruined about the first 12 hours of the trip because it made me feel really sick. And then I spent the whole day like feeling pretty shit.
And I said to you the other day, because your brother sent me a video of you on the plane, like heavy breathing.
Oh, I felt really bad on the plane.
I saw a video of the landing as well, and like it was...
No, it's not the landing. It's like...
No, but how rocky it was.
Yeah, I was just like not feeling good. So that was annoying, but glad it was only like a small flight.
Yeah, it was swaying like side to side. It was ridiculous. But I also said to you, the way that you felt on that 40-minute plane flight, you can't equate
compare
that to...
You can't compare people's feelings.
You can equate that to how I felt through pregnancy. And you said, that's not even...
No, it's not. You can't compare unless we were both doing the same thing, whereas I can't experience your pregnancy. So it's unfair to say like, that's how I feel. Or
well, the only reason
worse.
I said it was because you were doing the like, you know, when I first got pregnant and every now and then I'd just be like...
That's not what I was doing.
You were doing that on the flight. I saw the video.
No.
It's like I was there with you.
But you weren't there, were you?
No.
Exactly. So, yeah, had a good trip. Got some really good waves on the first few days. A lot of ups and downs on the trip.
The biggest down was that you missed me, wasn't it?
No, that wasn't. The biggest down was when one of the 2 cars they gave us, the engine exploded. The pistons blew out of the bottom of the engine. So we then had to spend the next 2 hours trying to tow this seized engine car out of this paddock. And it had been pouring rain for the day before.
And was that someone's fault?
I think it was partially the person who was driving it and partially situational, you know, like... Okay. It got bogged. We were trying to get it out, or they were trying to get it out. Good morning, Jack. And in order to get it out, sort of had to like rev it pretty hard, and the engine just didn't cope with it. So, all in all, good trip. Some very stressful moments. Caught some good waves, and still very fatigued from it.
Yes,
but yeah. Well, that was pretty much all the notes I had. I had King Island, Bella, you were solo all weekend, the blown up Hilux, got covered in cow shit when we were trying to get the...
Yeah, you haven't said anything about that.
Well, so when we were trying to tow the car out, because the grass was all wet in these big paddocks, the car that was getting towed, we all had to run behind it and push it.
Yeah.
But the ground was like a wet, so it kept slipping over, but it wasn't mud, it was mostly cow shit.
Oh, got ya.
So on the island of King Island, little fact, I think there's only 1,200 residents, but over 100,000 cattle. So
I would love it there.
Yeah, it was pretty much just like
cow
paddocks, to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah. And the power went out for nearly 24 hours when we were there. So that made it.
But only in your house.
Just in our house. Yeah, that was that made it difficult because it was very cold and very dark. And yesterday, first day back at work, we were down at Vintage Tattoo Parlour in Mordialloc, and I finished off Holly's back.
Yes, you did.
Which I just posted on Instagram this morning. Mm-hmm. So she gave me free rein on that back. We've done 3 sessions on it. And yeah, I really liked the design that we did.
Yeah. How many hours do you reckon it was?
Not too many hours.
I think she did 1 full day. Or did you do other stuff in that full day she had?
No, I think we've done one. I think it's been about
9 hours.
It's probably only been about 9 or 10 hours or something.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So really happy with that back.
Oh, I mean like crazy because it took you so long.
Oh yeah, really slow, really slow. I've had some really interesting messages this last few weeks, Bella,
Yes.
about the podcast. So this was this one, no in particular order or anything like that, yeah? Mm-hmm. But some really nice words. Thank you for the person who wrote this. But then they go, the question for the potty is, I'm wondering how we can see your flash without coming into the store for interstate travellers. Thanks heaps, guys. Keep doing the podcast. Blah, blah,
I've
blah.
had a lot of those messages recently, and I think I have a solution.
What is it?
Well, I could go about it in two ways. Mm-hmm. I could either put it in my highlights on my Instagram.
You could.
Like a video of it. Or what I think I will do is just make a PDF book version that I can send people the link.
Okay.
What are you going to do about it?
Well, I have actually addressed this in the past. So I used to have like a digital version, essentially a PDF version of all my line drawing books. And when people would message me, or I'd put it up and say, anyone who wants to look at my line drawing book, just message me and I'll send you the link. So I did that for a while. But since then, I've gone away from using the iPad and stuff like that. So just on the tracing paper. So all my line drawing books are essentially just hard copies.
Well, yeah, so are mine.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sort of like, ugh.
So I don't have digital versions of them. I guess we could make them. So that would be the only way, really.
Yeah. And when he says we could make them, he means sending me to Officeworks to do it, which I'm more than happy to do. My love.
So that would be that would be like the main way. I think the reason why lots of tattooers don't do it, and this isn't not necessarily why I don't do it, but
we're just a bit lazy in that regard.
Yeah, is if you don't have an appointment,
and you send out the designs to other people, and then they don't come and get it from you,
can go and get them tattooed by other people.
Yes, which would happen. Yeah.
Oh, it definitely happens.
It wouldn't destroy my day or anything if it did happen. I know it's going to happen, but there's the same chance if someone comes into the shop and takes a photo of your flash while they're here, and then they don't come back and get it by you. It's the same situation.
No, definitely. I think mainly the reason that we don't do it is more just like my line drawing book gets updated almost every day when I draw a new design or...
Yeah, if we're sick of something, we rip it out and then put a new design in.
Yeah, so that's why I don't have the digital versions, because then it's just like like the digital versions I do have of old books, it's like I don't show people those books anymore.
No, because you don't want to tattoo those designs because you've done them quite often, or you've been looking at them for so long.
Change the way you draw and stuff from then.
Yeah. That's my main thing.
But I would say for interstate customers who do have bookings, the best way to go about it is just message us individually and say, hey, you got a booking interstate, so you want to be able to see the flash first, and then we'll just send you a video of all the books.
Yeah, because yesterday I had to send a video to one of Hal's customers of me flipping through all of the pages of Hal's books while we were driving in the car, and he would have been watching it feeling so car sick.
Probably.
The filming quality was average at best.
Yeah. Very lo-fi. So, yeah, just wanted to quickly address that one. For anyone who is interstate or international, if you are looking to... if you do want to see the flash and stuff and you do have a booking, then, flick us a message. We'll send you some videos in a timely manner.
Why are you pointing to me smiling?
I don't know. Actually, no reason.
Oh, okay. Just more emphasis.
Unfortunately for this question, Bella, doesn't directly apply to you, and Charles is away in Thailand as of today, so he can't answer it either.
Perfect.
You can give your thoughts on it, though, as always.
I won't.
Do you think you can be straight edge and not be a massive participant in the hardcore scene? That's the music scene, by the way. I have been calling myself sober when people ask, but it comes across like I'm a former junkie and have gone through some sort of recovery program. I like hardcore and listen to certain bands, but I don't go to shows. Obviously, everyone has their own opinion, but interested to hear yours, as well as Charles' opinion, if he's around to give it. Well, he's not.
Let me say, if you would like Charles to answer that, DM him. He would love that.
Yeah.
He would feel very involved.
That's the kind of question we could get the young guys to answer on their podcast they're going to start recording.
Yeah. How about you answer it now?
I will answer it. Absolutely, you don't have to be into the hardcore music scene at all to be straight edge, I don't think. I think like the foundations of like where straight edge or like the label straight edge came from is rooted in music, but I don't think you have to be going to shows or be even into that music to be straight edge. I think it's sort of become a thing of its own. And just from my own personal experience, it's like I'd never go to shows and almost never have. So,
You've been to a few shows. You've taken me to some.
No, I've been to a few, but it's like
You're not a big gig or concert goer.
No, like I listen to the music, but I'm not an active member in the scene, and I didn't know a single straight edge person until I'd been straight edge for a few years. So yeah, I don't think you need to be a participant. It's like the way I view it is if you want to be sober lifestyle or you want to be straight edge, it's like you're doing it for yourself, and knowing other people or interacting with other people who want to live a similar lifestyle, that's always good and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like if I was the only person in the world doing it, I'd still be just doing it for me. So that's where my head's at. So yeah, I don't think you need to be going to shows or interacting within the scene or anything like that. In a way, I actually think sometimes it can be better for your own journey within that lifestyle. Is it really just means like you are actually content doing it for yourself, and you're not doing it to be someone to someone else or to be viewed a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm a big believer of doing what makes you happy. And I don't necessarily get tied up in doing things to please other people.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. But with a topic like this, I think if it's only bettering you and your overall health and lifestyle, it doesn't matter what title you put on it as long as you're content and you're happy with that. If people think that you're a junkie, then let them think.
No, I do agree though that saying you're sober sounds like you've had an addiction issue in the past.
Yes, which is strange because is it just because of like the TV shows and movies and stuff that we've grown up with? Because in like Seinfeld and all those kind of things, whenever someone was sober, they would always link it to going to like AA meetings.
I just think it's the way I think if you say you don't drink, that comes across a certain way, but saying like you're sober means that previously you haven't been sober.
Yeah.
I think that's what the implication.
You've been an abuser.
That's what the implication is. So I do agree that whenever I've ever said that in the past, it always does sound like you've been a junkie or something.
Yeah. I think they can absolutely say they're straight edge even if they're not into the music or whatever.
Oh, of course.
It's just an easy way of saying you don't drink without
making it. It's like, look at it this way, Bella. Can you say that you're religious but you don't attend church?
Yeah.
I think you can. Obviously you
I'm
can.
not religious and I don't attend church.
But you can say you're a Christian and not go to church on the weekends.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think anyone would, maybe there'd be some purists who would argue against that, but I think the general population would.
Purists.
Having never been to church, I don't know why I chose to use that as my
No, we've been to church, not to a church like thing.
What?
But we've been to churches for like weddings and things. There you go.
That doesn't count. Actually, no, so we did chapel at school.
There you go. We've been to
with the rain stick.
And we went to that woo thing. What's it called?
I don't even know what that was called.
What is it called?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, we're not allowed to talk about it. We're too ashamed.
No, we got invited to go to this thing and we sort of had to go, and that's a story for another time.
And I will never, ever, ever go.
Can you stop playing with your microphone? You set them up. You keep moving it.
I'm good, dog.
It's going to be coming across on the audio.
I'm all good.
It's because you haven't done it up tight. Apologies to everyone for the audio at the moment. Because it's not done up. That's why it keeps moving. There we go. There you go.
Are you happy now?
I'm happy.
It was perfect before.
It wasn't. You kept touching it and I was like, you're going to be able to hear this.
Okay, mate.
Yeah. What do you got for me? You're looking at your phone like you're...
Oh, no, I have lots of questions too. But you go through yours.
Oh, well, I've got one here. It's actually... They've responded to a photo of you with a question.
It's alarming.
Love the random chatter long eps. Very amusing stories. Got a question for you and Bella in the next one. What are you most excited and nervous for regarding parenthood?
The birth.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to deal with pain. I also don't want to see yucky body fluids.
Okay.
And I want it to be quick, but I feel like it's not going to be.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's a fair...
It's not really parenthood that I'm terrified or scared about, because I'm in the mindset of, well, once the kid is out, it's ours. We've got to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't escape.
Yeah.
So whatever happens, let's just get through.
Yes.
But it's the fact that I have to go through getting this child from the inside of my body to the outside of my body that repulses me.
Well, Bella, you've said for a long time that you really wanted to experience being pregnant. So you can't now be experiencing it and be
I've
like,
experienced
I'm
it,
really like nervous about
and
this.
I hate it.
Well.
And do you know what? So I was at a friend's 30th on the weekend.
Yeah.
It was just a lunch, and there were a lot of pregnant people there.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one pregnant person. Oh, no, that's a lie. One pregnant person that I knew and one person who just had a baby that I knew, and then the others I didn't really know.
Oh, okay. So there's other people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of my friends who don't have kids, they literally didn't have anything to say to me other than asking about like pregnancy and saying like, can I touch your belly and stuff, which is fine, whatever.
What were you expecting them to say?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay.
But I was just like, I'm so sick of talking about this pregnancy.
Yeah.
Because every single day, I hate it. This is shit. And the worst is, and not that any of these people did it, some did it, but I'm not going to blame them in case they're listening. The worst bit is when people, like, they can tell that you're not feeling well or you're just not enjoying it, and they come up to you and they're like, oh, but you should enjoy it. It's just such a miracle. I seriously want to scream in their face and say, shut the fuck up. Get out of my way. I hate you. I really do.
Okay.
Oh, it's the worst thing, because they're like, oh, you should enjoy it. You know, it's so magical. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
You wanted it.
Do you want to feel like you're going to throw up?
You
no.
wanted it.
I know, but like, you don't have to say that to people. You can just be like, oh, it's a bugger that it's shit. Move on.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that people are, like, love to talk about.
Yeah, but all they're going to get back from me is like
possibly the biggest thing you ever do in your life. So
I'm going to do bigger things than this. Who knows? I might cure cancer.
I doubt that.
Jack's laughing in the background.
I know, because
I might do bigger things.
I would bet almost everything that you're not going to cure cancer.
I would also bet that.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe the bigger thing that I do is we have twins again.
Yeah, but I think just childbirth is like one of the biggest things you can do.
Yeah, and I don't want to do it. It's gross.
Yeah, well, that's a change of mindset.
Yeah.
Because all I ever heard for a long time was, I want to be pregnant. I want to feel the natural pregnancy or whatever.
Well, yeah, because Hal and I are intrigued in adoption, and Hal was like, let's just adopt. And I'm like, it's so hard in Australia.
It is. I think it's really difficult.
What are you nervous about? And you can't say nothing because that's a lie.
I wouldn't say nervous. It's more the thing I think about is more on the practical side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think mine's practical. Do you want to push a watermelon out of your penis? See, you don't. That's practical.
No.
People don't even want to push a kidney stone out.
No, not from the like physical side. More so like, what's the work situation going to be after that?
Yeah, that I don't like.
I'm not worried about it. I think about those things. I think our income's going to drop because you're not going to be working for a period of time.
Me, the main breadwinner.
So just things like that, you know. So they're the things I think about. It's like, what's like your weekly schedule look like? What's your financial situation look like?
Yeah. I also don't hate. I hope that I don't hate being at home with the kid while you're at work, because I love coming to work.
You do, but you might love it. You never know.
I know.
So that's the thing. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm not nervous about anything.
We just don't like the unknown of how much life's going to change, I guess.
Yeah, we just have very structured lives at the moment. So then I think if you're going to like obviously have a big life change, then the thing that you think about is like, well, what's your life going to be like?
Yeah.
You know?
Is there something you're excited about?
I'm excited about the whole thing, to be honest. But it's very life-changing. That's the thing. That's what I'm excited about. It's like, it's sort of like the feeling a little bit where you're like, if you were like, oh, I'm moving countries or I'm changing jobs or something.
It's nerve-wracking, but it's exciting.
A big like life change. So I'm not necessarily, I'm not nervous about it. I'm just sort of like, just going to be different.
Yeah. I don't like all of the waiting. Like 9 months is a very long time to wait to see what is going to be.
Yeah.
That frustrates me.
And well, I think the one thing I think about mostly, and always I say this in most episodes, is like I always think about the money aspect. So I'm like, I would love to like never have to earn money, but I obviously do. So I don't know. I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried. Yeah, that it's like if I do really enjoy being at home and stuff,
you're not going to want to come to work.
Well, not that I'm not going to want to come to work because I do love tattooing and love working, but then I'll sort of feel like I'm obliged or I'm required to earn X amount of money.
Well, I've got an idea.
What?
We don't send our child to school. We save on that money and we create our own tat school just for our child.
Well, public school's free.
Yeah, I know, but like,
so then you're not
school
really
pick up,
you're not
drop off,
saving any money.
inconvenient times of the day.
There's a school literally 200 meters from our house, Belle.
Yeah, there is, but someone has to be there to pick the kid up at like 3 or something.
Yeah.
So what, you're going to come into work and do one tat and then drive home and pick them up?
I don't know. They're the things that we've got to think about. What's the work situation?
I reckon we just rely solely on my parents and hope for the best.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Hey, Bella, why don't you like drug culture?
Is that actually a question?
Sorry for the beeping in the background. There's a car reversing out the front if you can hear that.
It's a truck.
It's piercing through my ear. That stopped.
It's not that loud. Is that actually a question?
Yeah, because I mentioned it the other week. I think in the fast fire questions you were doing, it was like, what's one thing you don't like about your coworkers?
Right.
And I said, I don't like drug culture.
Yeah.
Which was a little bit of an inside joke within the shop here, but I guess it might have left a lot of people wondering what I was talking about.
Yeah. You go first.
So the reason I say that I don't like drug culture is I've always hated conversing with people who you think are mentally not there, as in like they're either drunk or on drugs or whatever. Because then I'm just going like, what the fuck? Why am I even talking to you?
Yeah, you're not going to remember it. You're not fully lucid. What's the point?
Yeah, you know. So
this isn't enjoyable.
That classic sort of thing where it's like
someone's real tipsy at a wedding and you're like talking,
and they're
to
just
them.
like chewing your ear off, and you're just like, you don't want to be rude, obviously, but then it's also like you're just talking about nothing over and over again because they're sort of like off their head.
Yeah.
So
I despise those situations.
I don't like people feeling like people are in a different reality than me. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say that I don't like drug culture.
That's a big one for me.
If you want to do drugs, whatever, do it. I don't give a fuck. And if you want to drink, do it. I actually don't care.
Yeah, we seriously couldn't care what you guys do.
It doesn't bother me.
What everyone does in their own time. I don't like being around it though. I don't like being around people that are generally like a little bit more not there.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have never really come across someone who is a high functioning drug user. They're generally quite lazy.
Oh, wow. We're getting real interpersonal stuff here.
Yeah. And it shits me. Like if you can smoke however many bongs you want, I don't care. If you can do that every single night of the week and have, whatever pills or booze you want, I wouldn't know. I don't do it. If you want to do that every night of the week, but you can show up to your 9 to 5 job and be as efficient as you would if you weren't doing it.
Okay.
Fine. Good on ya. That's great. But it still doesn't, it's not an attractive thing to me. I find it yuck.
So I don't know if I necessarily like 100% agree with that, but what I think is that I don't like the situations where someone, say, spending their time or mental energy doing other things, drugs, alcohol, whatever, but then they're unhappy or complaining about their situation.
Yes.
Like,
which is easily a situation that they could
Well, it's like,
change.
yeah, so then that's the thing that I've got no time for, yeah? Where it's like someone, for example, goes, and this isn't in relation to anyone that we work with. This is in general. Because I know the question was about people we work with, which is...
Was it?
Well, that's what the original comment that I made as a joke was.
Yeah.
But so I don't want people to think that I have these issues with people at work, because I don't. But and this is across the board for anyone in general. The thing I don't have time for is people who make conscious decisions to do certain things in their life, but then complain about the outcome when they made the decisions full well knowing that would lead to that outcome. Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess that's sort of what I think you were trying to say is, if you're saying high functioning, and I'm like, I think there are lots of high functioning people who have addictions, whether it's drugs or alcohol.
Yes, there are. I've never met one though.
But the question is, could they be performing at a higher level and achieving more if they
be
were
of that level of expectation that they have for themselves without the drugs?
Yeah. So I think that's always the thing, is like, I always have this perception that it's like, you could always be doing better or be doing more or achieving more of what you want, whether that's work or life or whatever, if you weren't spending your time and money on those sort of things. But the thing that I've experienced the most is people complaining about their financial situation or their life situation or their mental situation when they're actively making decisions that go against, like, are actually working negatively with those things, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm sort of like, the whole sort of drug culture thing, I think it's like really glamorized and glorified. And again, I probably sound like a fucking prude or whatever.
We are prudes in that sense.
Yeah, we probably are. But I'm just sort of like, it's, you know, there's nothing, there's no aspect of my life that I feel like,
you know what, mate? Let's rip a bong and this could get better.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, there's no aspect of my life where I'm like, you know what? I'm really unhappy with how that situation is, but I'm knowing that I'm making poor decisions that are leading to that outcome, you know? So it's like,
all of the decisions that we're making are whilst we're fully alert and aware.
of course, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, then I don't get it.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to explain it.
Explain better.
No, so there's aspects of my life that I would like to be better, yeah? Or to be in different situations or whatever. I think everyone's like that. But I'm content knowing that I'm not holding myself back from trying to make, or from getting to where I want to get to by making poor decisions in other aspects. So I don't know if I'm explaining this well. So this could be ultra confusing. It's obviously confusing you because you're just staring at me.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is, people who go, for example, like, oh, I don't have money for rent, or I don't have money for, you know, clothes or food or whatever, but then they're spending all of their money, not all of it, but a lot of money on drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, they're spending
week.
$600 buying drugs and booze.
Yeah, I'm going, it's like, well, I don't have any sympathy for that in a way, because
you made that decision to spend your money on those things when you knew you had bills coming up, which is a non-negotiable.
So that's where I'm going, is like,
that's my biggest issue.
The whole, like, what I would say drug culture. It's like, that's fine if you've got heaps of money and your life's in the situation you want it to be and you're really happy with that, and you're like, you know what, I want to do drugs, I want to get pissed every night. It's like, whatever, go for it. If that's what you enjoy and that's what's going to make you happy, you know, all power to you. But from most times I've experienced people who do drugs, lots of drugs and lots of alcohol, is that's not the case for their lives. And the drugs and the alcohol is actively holding them back from getting to where they want to be in their lives.
Does that make sense? More sense this
that makes
time.
more sense?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we were saying before, but maybe we didn't say it that well.
Yeah. And I think it's not always just about drugs and alcohol. There's lots of things, you know, like, I think a lot of it comes down to the financial side of decisions, that people make poor financial decisions and then complain about the outcomes at the end.
Yeah.
But they haven't. So that's, you know, that's where my head's at.
I just get frustrated when people say they want something of their life or they want to be better at something, but then they're wasting, pardon me, hiccup. They're wasting their time and energy doing a task or an activity that isn't getting them closer to it when they could have been working on it.
No, I agree. And this is getting a little bit into the business life motivation stuff that we...
And I have to be very careful with what I say because I don't want to offend anyone that I know or whatever. But all of my close friends, my family, everyone knows my standpoint on drinking, like binge drinking or over drinking and alcohol and drugs. So if you know me, whatever I've said isn't offensive because I've said it way worse to your face.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
Well, it's not about like, I don't like people who do drugs. It's like, I know heaps who do drugs and drink alcohol and whatever. Yeah. It's like, there's no issue with that. It's more so from the, and I've always thought this when it was with the sport or the tattooing and stuff like that. It's like, I think everyone wants to be at the end point and live the ultra successful life before they've gotten to that point. And I know there's lots of successful people who do drugs all the time and are alcoholics and all that sort of stuff. And that's like, and I always think that's amazing, but how...
Is it amazing?
Well, no, it is that it's like they've been able to get to that point with those aspects in their lives. But then it's like, I think it's like, how much further could they have gone?
Well, yeah, imagine your life without that and what could have been.
I don't know. There'll be people who have different opinions on this to me.
I think we've said enough about it before someone wants to burn us at the stake or something.
I know.
Hal.
Yes.
If you could change one thing about your AFL career, would you? And this is not from me, thank you.
Would I?
Yeah. Well, the question is, Hal, if you could change one thing about your AFL career, would you? That's the question.
Can I give two answers?
Sure.
On one hand, yes. On one hand, no.
Hit me.
I think I'm really happy with where my life is and where it's going.
I'm glad because I'm a part of
where I perceive it to be going. So I think if you take that as the mindset, then no, I wouldn't have changed anything because it's gotten me to where I am now.
Mm-hmm. You're so wise.
I think in my heart of hearts, obviously, I would have liked to have played any games plus lots of games.
Yeah.
But I am also aware that I think unless you're one of very few people, you're going to always, like the majority of people finish their AFL careers or professional sporting careers having not achieved what they wanted to.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very high bar to set is to go. So yes, if in an ideal world, I would have played 300 games and won a Brownlow and won a premiership and been the best player ever. Mm-hmm. But like almost no one gets to achieve that. No. So,
and you know what? Even some of the greatest players who have done everything in their career, but there's like one thing that they never ticked off. They never got the Brownlow. They're always going to think, but I never got that.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good and natural thing for you to always want more and better of yourself.
Yeah. So so that's just like an idealistic dream style scenario. But I think if it was on a practical level, the one thing I would have changed from my AFL career is if I had the ability to have like more durability with my body. So less injuries. That was sort of the cloud that was always over my football from when I was probably 15 until when I finished playing when I was 20. Mm-hmm.
The constant injuries that were...
Yeah, and just how that sort of, you felt like you had the ability to play at a certain level or to do certain things, and I probably did have the ability to some extent, but there was essentially something that was like a little bit out of my control that was holding me back, which was like the durability of my body. And the injuries. So it's like I was never able to perform at 100%, or even when I did get physically 100% fit, it was like, did my mind believe that my body was 100% capable? Mm-hmm. Like there was a big period of time where it was like I was so paranoid about like re-injuring certain injuries that
you got in your head a lot.
I couldn't like just play naturally how I used to play as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think that now with any physical stuff I do, and I think you probably realize this more as you get older, is it's like I remember when I was a young kid and it was like you could just go and sprint as hard as you could 100 meters down the road now and have no issues. Whereas like now, if I went to go and do that, I'd probably be thinking, fuck, I'm going to tear my hamstring or like I'm going to really hurt my body and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm going to trip over and break my ankle or something.
Yeah, so that's like...
I think you just become a bit more like switched on and you view things like in life that are more important to you, whereas your overall health and well-being is one of the most important things to you as you get older.
No, but when I was a young kid, I physically could do those things.
Yes.
Whereas like now, I don't think I could. So that's where I
think you could sprint, maybe not until you're going to die.
But getting off the topic. Yeah. No, what I was saying is, so for the last portion of my footballing career, I couldn't mentally
get over that hump.
Like get past that. So that was, that's what I would change, but, you know.
Yeah, you're so weak.
Well.
You're not. That sounds bad, guys.
No, I don't care. Whatever.
He's not weak. I know that me saying that will like rev him up for the day though.
What would be one thing you would change from my football career, Bella?
I think just you overall being happier within yourself and seeing all of the effort and hard work that you put in a positive light like your family did, instead of just getting in your head all the time and like bringing yourself down if something didn't go your way.
Yeah, but in my mind, it's like, I get that. I fully get that. But then I'm also like, is that just lowering your standards? And being happy with, oh, you're putting in the effort, like that's great, fantastic.
No, I don't think so. And I mean, I'm obviously going to say nice things because I was your partner throughout that whole time and now your wife, but it's hard to see someone else that was working as hard as you, obviously because I was only seeing how hard you were working, but it was over the top every single day, day in, day out. So I wish that you could have just been happier with the effort that you put in instead of always being like, no, it's not good enough.
No, but I think you get the satisfaction or the happiness from the results, and the results weren't coming. So
yeah, I know, and that's why it was frustrating. And I wanted you to see that you were putting in everything you could, and it was just your body at the time not being able to.
No, I get that now.
Yeah, that's what I would change.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't love when you played footy, but
no,
it wasn't the best time in our relationship, but we got through it, didn't we?
We did.
How long do you reckon you will both take off after baby Hunter arrives?
I think we said this the other week, actually.
Yeah.
Unsure. I'm not going to say any number because I don't know. It's not going to be overly super long period of time.
To be confirmed.
I'm just gonna see how we go.
Yeah. If it's ugly, maybe we won't want to spend time with it.
No,
so
it could be 1 week, it could be 1 month. More likely to be 1 week than 1 month.
I will not be taking 1 week off. I will be taking more.
Yeah.
But Hal will be here to man the fort.
Yes.
And we'll post on our stories with how we're going and updates and all of that.
I don't know about that. How we're going?
Oh, well, not how we're going, but like, hey, I'll be back at work on these dates.
Oh, okay. More work.
I won't be doing like mental check-ins,
More
like
work-related.
mental health. Like, hey, guys, really struggling today.
It's called mum blogging.
The baby shat all over the
walls.
walls.
And you're going to take it up.
I'm
mum
not.
blogging. Yes.
Hey, there's a question for me, directed at me, all in capitals.
Yeah.
Bella. Hey. What's it like working in a male-dominated industry? And then at the end it says Queen with a
Jack
with a
laughing
crown.
out the back. Yeah.
I like it. I prefer working with men. Women generally are bitches. And I say that openly to everyone.
Oh.
But I really enjoy it. At the start it was a little bit tricky, mainly because I was the apprentice working underneath my husband and his best friend. So I just felt like I had to, well, generally in any new job or industry, you're always just going to do what you're told and keep your mouth shut. But I find it hard to keep my mouth shut. So that was a struggle for me. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think what makes it so enjoyable is that I really, really get along well with everyone that we work with. We've got a great group of people that, you know, you can say anything and they know when you're joking and I know when they're joking, and I think you just have to take it with a grain of salt sometimes. no one in these shops is ever going to say something to another to actually upset them or, you know, take them down a peg. And yeah, it's great.
Okay.
I can't talk for other tattoo shops. I've never worked at them.
Yeah.
But working with the guys that are here, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Well, I have to say 10 out of 10. Some days I'll take them down to a 7 because they're annoying.
Yeah.
But they know when they annoy me. Yes, they do.
Yeah, okay.
Mickey says to me like, oh, you got the stompy feet. And then like Cody's like, oh, a bit sassy today, Belzy.
Yeah, the usuals, like that stuff just comes from me and Bella arguing about stuff.
It's
not
way
usually,
easier for the guys that
it's not anyone else.
My husband's here and they see how we interact and we talk to each other very openly.
Yeah. I do think that obviously I can't talk as a female in the industry or anything like that. But
Dull, if you want to identify as that.
I don't.
Okay.
So
the offer's there.
I do think that transition, and I don't think it's easy for you to explain as the person going through it, but as everyone else seeing it, I've seen it a few times now and stuff. I think when, obviously like in a relationship, it's, well, I guess ideally that would be equal, you know, equal status within the relationship, like you and me.
Yeah.
Or
we're both the big dogs of the relationship.
Well, it's like we have
I'm not superior to you in our relationship and vice versa.
Exactly. But then when one of those people comes into a position within the work environment that is substantially lower, and not that we have like a super hierarchy here or anything like that, but you definitely, I do think, is coming in as the apprentice, like there definitely is a hierarchy there.
Yes.
And the only, as like the partner of the person, the tattooer who's already, you know, professional tattooer, whenever your interactions within the shop or with other artists in the shop previous to starting working at the shop, they would all treat you a certain way because you're, you know, my wife or whatever, or someone as partner.
Yeah, so I was already friends with the people that I started working with as an apprentice.
But then when you come in and you're, you know, you've got a role to play within the shop ecosystem and you're you're at the bottom of it. I think not for anyone else in the shop, but for the person coming in. So you, or for example, you know, Mitch from Vintique, he's apprenticing his wife. When they come in, I think that's a hard transition to make.
Yes.
Because you go from feeling like you're in a certain position to being like in a different position when you're at work. Yeah. And I think, I just have always seen that as that's the hardest transition to make, and understanding that within, so for example, the issues we had when we started were...
We've spoken about this in previous episodes as well, towards the start of the podcast, if you want to go back and listen.
But so I think the main issues were, you know, realistically, you know, for the first, say, year, you had no true understanding of how the industry operates.
No clue.
The best ways to go about certain things, all of that.
Like if Hal was in the middle of a tattoo, but I had something that I needed to ask him, can I go up and just ask him?
Yeah, or even just like operational decisions, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, if even though all the decisions about, say, how shops should be set up and locations and stuff like that me and Bobby were making, it was partially your money going to fund whatever we chose to do. Yeah. So there was a weird dynamic there, but it was like you weren't in a position at that time to really be involved in those discussions.
Because I didn't understand why they were making the certain decisions.
Exactly.
I needed more time.
You also, if I was going to be harsh on it, it's like you hadn't earned the right to be in that position. And I think...
But I knew that I hadn't earned the right, and that's why I think I found it difficult at that time, because I knew... Like I trusted Bobby and Hal with everything, my career, whatever. But I am just a person that likes to say my piece. Mm-hmm. And that's what the hardest bit was. Not that I felt like they needed to hear me out, because they didn't. But I just wanted to be like, here's my 2 cents. But what I should have done is just bitten my tongue and said, Bella, shut the fuck up. No one cares.
Well, it's not that no one cares. It's just like you don't...
No one needs to take your word on it.
You know, it's like if I always think about it... Exactly. If you think about it as like, okay, like, you know, your partner's the CEO of a certain company and you get to start off doing that job, but you're working in the mailroom, you're not getting involved in meetings about, you know.
Not a chance.
Exactly. So that's how, I know, obviously way smaller scale and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, that's the hardest transition for someone who has a relationship with someone who's involved in the operations of the shops that then come in and work at those shops.
Yeah.
And you do see it all the time, you know, and it's like inconsequential shit, but for everyone else, because it's like, you know, you as the person coming in probably put a lot more weight in things that happen in the shop and the way people treat you and all of that. But for everyone else, it's just like, oh, well, you know, that's your job, so you've got to go do it. And it doesn't really matter if you're upset about it or whatever.
Well, it doesn't really matter if you've got boobs or a penis, because this was a gendered question.
Oh,
Bella,
was it?
Yes. Bella, how is it like working in a shop, in a what's it like working in a male-dominant industry? So
I was just saying from in a general perspective.
You were saying like a general perspective of like the power play situation when there shouldn't be one, but this person was asking in a way of the male versus female in the industry.
Well, I guess like a lot of those situations, you know, where you felt like you were either shut down or not incled and stuff.
It was never because I'm a woman.
But people would potentially perceive it as that.
Yes.
But it was never that. It's like when we have apprentices here and stuff, it's not like, oh yeah.
You're not yelling at them saying, know your place, blah, 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 or anything.
Yeah, I'm not going, oh, because you're a chick or because you're a guy. It's just because you're in the position you're in. And also, I don't yell at them saying, know your place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to clarify for the record.
No, he doesn't yell at me. I mainly more so yell at him.
Yeah.
I'm just louder. But no, and I sort of view men and women as equals, or at least I try to in every single position that I can.
Yeah.
Because that is just how I was brought up.
Yeah.
And I've never been in a situation at work, well, at this job, where the women have been made to feel inferior.
No, well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Can I also...
And if I would say to that person something really good and to the point to be like, screw you, bitch, we're on the same level.
I also think sometimes in small industries like this that sometimes being the less dominant gender, which obviously would be female at this point, like just based on numbers of tattooers and stuff, it's definitely changing and everything. But I would say like sometimes there's advantages to it, like massively. You know, like there would be a whole. Well, I think we said this before. Like everything we say we've said before, but there'd be a lot. I think there would be a lot of like a large customer base that would prefer to get tattooed by a female over a male.
Yes, I do have way more female clients coming in compared to the boys.
Yeah, so there are advantages of coming in as the less...
But then I just say that's better for you guys, because if I'm bringing in more females into the shop, I'm making them hopefully feel comfortable. They get chatty with the person who's tattooing next to me. Then they might say, oh, sick, I actually feel really comfortable around Jack or Charles. Maybe I'll get tattooed by them next.
No, I agree with that for sure.
Guys, I'm planting seeds here. You should be thanking me.
We should be watering them.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get you with another question.
We've got like 7 minutes to go, Bella. So? I'm still very conscious that you keep knocking this because you don't listen to the episodes, but I sometimes listen to them, and sometimes there's like a lot of
Okay, I don't think the listeners care about this, so I'll just put my hands here. Good.
Which is what I keep saying.
This one that I really enjoyed, because I put up a story saying like, any questions for the podcast? This person said, no, but my missus hates the podcast. I fucking love it. Makes for a great carpool home. I laughed so hard at that when I read it.
I like that.
Yeah. I wonder why she hates it. Does she hate like all
there could be
tats
lots
or does she
of
hate
reasons.
us?
Lots of reasons.
I would like this person to write in and give us the reasons as to why she hates it. I promise I will not be offended. I just find it very interesting. And I've got some quick questions for you.
Yep.
These ones kind of food-based. And I'm asking them because I'm getting hungry.
Food-based?
Yeah, people. And it's different people.
Okay.
Favourite flavour of chips? Like I'm thinking a packet of chips.
Oh, I don't eat chips.
You don't really eat them, but if you were to buy one in a servo.
Salt and vinegar.
Yeah, yuck. Salt and vinegar makes me like clammy and sweaty. So I'm either going for sea salt or like a chicken flavour.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Chicken, I like chicken as well.
Yeah. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
I say vanilla too. I don't like chocolate ice creams.
No.
Never have. And I think if someone can do a vanilla really well, you can do every other flavor. But if you do a shit vanilla, I'll never eat your ice cream again.
Okay. Well, I think that it's like vanilla can go with everything. You can put vanilla on a pudding. You can put vanilla with sauce. You can put vanilla with fruit.
Yeah.
But you can't put like
butterscotch with like passion fruit. That would be gross.
Well, you could. It's just like a different flavor. But
Yeah.
vanilla is more neutral. That's why I like it.
Would you buy a house if you knew someone had been murdered in it?
Yes.
I would too.
Not
Hopefully it's
because
cheaper.
of the... It just would be irrelevant. It's like, it would be more like, is it a good investment?
Yeah.
So if the answer to that was yes, then yes, I would.
Yeah.
The murder situation, I do think that could negatively impact on the investment opportunities or the value of the property.
Yeah.
But
Because legally they have to tell you.
I don't know what the rules are.
I think it is. We'll just assume that anyway. How do you manage a customer with BO?
Very awkwardly. It's
a situation that I strongly do not know how to handle.
No, everyone knows how to handle it. If you're really assertive and not worried about how people feel or think, you would just say, hey, can you chuck some deodorant on? But no one ever does that because it's too awkward.
I've heard of people sending their customer away to go shower.
Yeah. So
But I cannot imagine ever
pretty
doing
much
that.
everyone in the shop, if you have a customer with bad BO, everyone just deals with it and doesn't get mentioned.
Yeah. And I'll usually go and open up the front or back door to get some airflow coming through.
You open their door every day.
No,
So that's now the next customer who gets tattooed by, he's going to think that.
No, because it's winter and it's a bit chilly, so I don't open it as often. I do prefer fresh air.
I hate
aircon and everything.
the doors open.
I love having doors open.
I hate having the doors open.
He yells at me all the time at home. Shut the fucking door. See, that is you yelling.
No, I do say shut the doors at home because...
You like get so angry about it.
It's like we have the heater on inside and then Bella leaves all the doors open. I'm
But
like,
you
what's
put the heater
point?
on. I don't like the heater. I put a jumper on.
Yeah, but Bella's like, oh, put a fucking jacket on. I'm like, I don't want to be sitting on the couch with a fucking goose down jacket on.
It's good.
No.
And where was the thing I was just reading?
I don't know.
What age would you let your future kids start getting tats?
We spoke about this the other week.
I know, but they might not have
18.
heard it. Yeah, I don't really care. Probably 18. Tribal, making a comeback or nah?
Oh, I thought that was going to be like I thought they were about to say Namcore.
No, they didn't.
No, because that's what I was about to say. Tribal's making a comeback in real edgy, cool young kids.
Which we call those people Namcore style.
Well, like it's popular in Namcore, which is like that's considered Melbourne style.
Nam is the Aboriginal word for
name for Australia for Melbourne. Sorry. So when people
for a certain area of Melbourne.
There was this hashtag going around called Namcore. It means Melbourne core, and that's how people in Melbourne dress.
Mm-hmm.
And I always equated the tribal being popular again to being
in that
like
circle,
very trendy style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so and people was like, oh, tribal's coming back, and I was always like, yeah, tribal's coming back if you're young, somewhat fit, very trendy, a bit of like and these are outdated terms that I say because I'm not up to this, but like
we're not cool.
Yeah, a bit like swaggy, all that sort of stuff.
Swaggy.
Yeah, but tribal is not cool or wouldn't be perceived cool if you're older and getting like a full tribal sleeve. I actually think it still looks good.
I love tribal.
But when people go, oh, tribal's trendy again, it's like, yeah, in a certain small demographic, it's become cool.
Yeah. Do you know what I thought of when you said swaggy?
It's the same as like how all 90s style like clothing and shit, low cut jeans and fucking G-strings showing on girls and that.
Yeah, I'm not really into that style, but I like baggy jeans, but maybe not my underpants showing.
Sorry,
mainly because I wear like cartoon underpants, so it's a bit questionable.
Yeah.
When you said swaggy, it made me think of it was ages ago, but you have this one customer and he speaks very like young people speak, and he's like, "Does that slay?" or whatever. What did he say?
Is
that a vibe?
Yeah, so he was saying it was a vibe, and slay and all of that. And I was like, I only know these words.
And
I know
you
what
were
obviously,
sitting there like, what the fuck are you saying?
I know what vibe, obviously a vibe means. But just, I don't talk like that.
No, and neither do I.
But I hear people talk like that on TikTok and stuff like that.
Yeah, so this person goes to Hal like, is this a vibe? And then Hal's like, it's a vibe if you want it to be a vibe.
Well, I was like a bit unsure what to say. I was like, yeah, if you like it, then yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. Have you ever told a customer their tattoo is a bad idea?
Not in those exact words.
But yes, generally, yes, we have, but in a nicer way, and we've given reason.
But the reason is never like it's a shit design.
No.
It's more like
it's not going to translate to a tattoo.
Yeah, or it's not going to age well, or it's a big I don't know if I'd say this, but it's like, yeah, it's never like, oh, that's just a shit looking design, because it's like, well, if I can tattoo it well, then I'll tattoo it, of course. But it's more so, yeah, all the other aspects. It's like, if you came in with no tattoos at all and you wanted like some big hectic thing on your face, it's like I probably ultimately would do it, but I would sort of make sure that you 100% confirmed you really wanted it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to end on this question because you're not going to like this question and it's going to send you off to do homework.
Oh, God. Yeah.
What is Hal's love language? And Hal, what is Bella's love language?
Fuck, I don't know.
So Hal.
I hate this shit.
Hal, your homework.
I'm not doing it.
No, you have to. This is for the podcast.
No.
I've been asked this question.
I've heard about all this fucking love language shit.
Hal, shush. Your wife is speaking.
Go for it.
I have been asked this question about your love language about 5 or 6 times. And the people have spoken. They want to know.
You could figure it out if you had half a brain and you knew what the terms were and that.
You're going to, over the weekend, you're going to sit down and do the online test.
I'm not fucking doing it.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not, because the whole thing I think about this, Bella, right? Out of every single person we know, other than our parents and that who've been together for a long time, we've been together longer than anyone.
Yeah.
And I don't need to know love languages and fucking Virgo or whatever.
Virgo? That's a star sign.
Yeah, all that shit. It's just like, if it works, it works. And you know why it works. And if it doesn't work, it's like you don't need to try and justify it by going, oh, their fucking love language is touch, but mine was fucking emotional connection.
See, you know some things.
No, I know. I've heard it all before.
Do you know what my star sign is? Just you brought
I don't give a fuck.
You actually don't know?
No, and I don't know. I know what mine is only because Cancer, but I don't know what period that is, and I don't know. I don't really know the other ones.
I know one thing.
Yeah.
And only because lots of people have told me this. So I'm a Libra, and people say that Libra and Cancers generally will never have a successful relationship.
I don't believe it. So it's like, I would say this, and don't take offense if you're one of these people, right? They're saying that to you, and then you should turn around and go, oh, how long have you been with your partner for? Because I guarantee you it's not as long as us.
It might be, Hal.
No, it won't be.
It could be.
Name a single person we know that's been with their partner longer than you and me. Exactly. So all of these things, and I'm saying within
They're obviously just not as
same
in love.
age. No. All of this shit that I reckon is like star signs, love language, fucking whatever.
In Hal's mind, it's like woo-woo magic.
It's bullshit. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's just stuff people make up to justify why something's not working out or why something is working out. It's like you could meet someone online, go on a few dates, perfectly be like, oh, this is going great. And then you look up and you're like, oh, what? Yeah, they're a Cancer. Oh, we're definitely meant to be linked because fucking Virgos or whatever are meant to link with
do you know
Cancer.
what is crazy?
It's like, no, that's not true at all.
People do believe in that crap. And they're like, oh, nah, it's never going to work. They're a Capricorn.
I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe it either.
No, I believe that that's a superficial excuse that people use for things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree.
It's the same as like it'd be the same as like using star signs for anything. It's like, oh yeah, no, I wouldn't be good at that job because I'm a fucking Libra or whatever, and my mind attitude is that I fucking do certain things, that means I won't be able to do that job. It's like, just say you don't want to do the job or you don't like the job or whatever. You don't have to justify it with all this other shit.
Based off what you've heard of all of this, can you guess what my love language is?
No, because I don't care. And people can go, oh, that's like rude, or that's
He doesn't care about my love.
No, well, I would say this. It's like, we're getting pretty into it here. But
I love how revved up I've made you.
Yeah, because people say this shit all the
this for lucky
time. They're like,
last.
oh, I'm an emotional robot about me. Or like, I don't do PDA and I don't do holding hands and all of this. And I'm like, well, maybe you've just like given up and you've conceded that you're going to be unhappy or whatever, but I don't think that's the case. So I would say in general, it's like, just because I'm not one of these people, but I always think, people who overly displays a PDA and something and stuff like that, I'm like, that's you compensating for something else. You're trying to make it something when maybe it isn't that.
Yeah, you're trying to push it and force it.
Whereas I'm like, I think the pure relationship is when it requires like not much work.
Yeah.
It
just flows.
Exactly. And maybe we're just lucky, or
maybe we're both just so unlovable by everyone else that no one else can love us, that we're just forced into loving each other.
Well, I know I would be difficult, definitely. But it's just like, the whole love language stuff. I'm like, it's just another label you could have put on stuff. I'm like, it's just irrelevant. If it's working, it's working. If it's not working, then it's like, I don't need to be like, oh yeah, well, she just wanted to like cuddle too much and I just wasn't that. It's like, well, just say that. Don't go, oh, she had the love language of touch and mine was fucking emotional connection or whatever. It's like, it's just fucking labels. It's bullshit.
Oh, your body language right now is like so aggro. You're going to need to go for a little walk.
It's just one of those things I see. I know it was like became very popular for a little bit online and it was like,
it was in lockdown.
Yeah, and everyone was like, oh, what's the love languages, all of this? I'm like, oh, just never ends, does it? Just never ends. You can't just go, oh, I like that person because they're funny or they look good or whatever. It's just like, you got to have some other fucking stupid label to put on it. Seriously.
My day is made.
Nah, mine's not. You pissed me off.
I feel good.
I don't like that stuff.
All right, well.
Anyway,
I'm going to end this episode here because I've had a really good time right now.
Yeah. So just quickly, coming next week, we've got Hamish Hamilton from King Kong Tattoo in Ballarat. He's on. I
did say that in the diary.
Yeah, so he's coming on.
Is he tattooing here for the day?
He's tattooing here for the day, next Tuesday.
Great.
And we'll have, so this will come out the day before we record that episode, recording Tuesday morning. So really excited for that. I did a little poll last night, this anecdotal sort of poll of people like, what's your favourite episode so far? Big variety. But I do think definitely people came back with, the sort of more interesting ones on a...
More of an interview
style one. So we do have plans to do more of that in the future. And
there are lots of people that we have planned to get on. It just depends on everyone's work schedule.
Exactly. So, And
if there is someone you would love to hear from, send through some names.
I had a few big ideas last night and stuff like that. So I'll be working on them in secret. So hopefully they come.
Do I get in on the secret?
Nah, because I don't want to be like telling everyone and then it doesn't become anything.
No, do I get told?
Nah, you'd see.
I don't.
You can work on your own stuff.
I don't like this.
Why?
You're having like private chats with your fucking mentor and then I seem less professional.
No, not at all.
Mate, you're cock-blocking me or something.
I'm cock-blocking you.
That's all I can think of.
Thank you for listening. My name's Hal Hunter, professional tattoo artist from Carlisle Tattoo Co. and Vintique Tattoo Parlour in Melbourne, Australia.
I'm just Bella because I don't get hints on this.
Co-host is Bella Hunter, who is both of those things as well. Carlisle Tattoo Co. and Vintique Tattoo Parlour in Melbourne, Australia. And this is Carlisle Studios, and we will be back in your ears next week.
Hopefully. Or maybe we'll have divorced by then because our love languages don't match.
Yeah, true. I've got to do some research. This episode is brought to you by Carlisle Tattoo Co. 178 Carlisle Street, St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia.